I'm just curious, just to give people a better appreciation of what exactly you do. Can you talk about, maybe some of the specific communities that you work with and the intervention that your group does?
Okay, one of the examples was Interlock.
Okay,
the Climate Smart Interlock. We're in. We work with the communities. So we installed ultrasonic flood detector systems in some of the barangays. So that's
ultrasonic
flood detector systems.
Flood detectors. Okay.
Systems, yeah, flood detector systems, and this is in partnership with the OML Center.
Okay. What's the
Oscar M. Lopez Center?
Okay.
So that particular project was funded by OML Center. So it's one of our projects. So there's another one in Mindanao.
Okay.
So I mentioned Mindanao Development Authority,
yes.
But there's another one when BARM was born.
Okay.
Yes. So we partner with the Bangsamoro through MenRe, the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, and part of the partnership is it's not just the Climate Smart Mindanao or Bangsamoro, we call it the Climate Security Program for BARM. So in this particular project, we're not only looking at the risks, the climate risks, but we are also looking at the incidents of conflicts, terrorism, and
that's interesting how it segues into to those things, right?
Yes, because we really want to know the hot spots in these areas.
Okay,
what particular area with that are experiencing different types of hazards at the same time. Areas with high incidence of conflicts, terrorism, violent extremism. So and we're still in the process of assessing those areas. So we're going to provide the results by August.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Does your work at the grassroots lead to? I mean, of course, it leads to data and best practice that you replicate. But does it lead to policy recommendations at the national level?
Yes.
Is that something you're looking forward to? You're doing it already?
Yes. That's what we're doing actually.
Okay.
It's not only limited to the assessment, because the next part will be the management part.
What do you do about it? Right.
Yes. And after the management part, what are the different policies that you can recommend, all right, to address these issues? Now, under the Climate Smart Philippines, I'm going to go back to the program I mentioned. So there is what we call TRIP framework. The track, T stands for track assessment, R for the risk assessment, I the impact assessment, the P is the policy analysis. So after the assessment, that's where we recommend the best and the right recommendation solutions that will really tackle the need, that will really address the needs of our people. So we don't just provide programs. Because I have experiences. This is what the governor wants. This is what we want. Even the
this is what's on the master plan.
Yes, this is the master plan. This is what we want. And I said, okay, because now I can tell them, okay, before you implement that project or program, let's assess it first. Okay. Because sometimes there are mismatched solutions or programs. I said, before we implement that, because I don't want.
Can you cite examples of what some of those mismatches? Now, without referring to an LGU, right? But is there something that comes to mind?
Yes, because they wanted to come up with, for example, we wanted to have a school. Okay, are you sure that you want to have a school? I mean, it's school for the people there. I said, so how are we going to address climate change there? So we just want to have a school. I said, and then he mentioned, because this is what our people want. Okay, but let's assess it first. If you want me to come into the picture, so the approach will be about the impacts and risks of climate change to your municipality first. Because if this is what you want, if school is what you want, but that's not it, and it's not the need of your community, so there's a mismatch there. So I always start with the assessment.
Yeah, you mentioned Yolanda, Typhoon Yolanda, and I seem to remember that you mentioned that during your presentation at the Manila Times Sustainability Forum, something about the placement of the evacuation center.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on the point you were making there, that it ended up becoming dangerous, right? I mean, but you know.
Yes, in Yolanda, if you recall, some of the people went to the evacuation centers during the time, and
that's where they died.
And not only that, I mean, because it's an extreme event, 246 kilometer super typhoon. I mean, the area where they went is actually a hazard-prone area.
I see.
So, and that's the reason why there should be science in the assessment. So, and this is what I always tell to not only to the academe, to all our partners. So, yes, we may have the good programs, you may come up with the best policies, but do not forget science.
Right.
So, because science will really provide you, I'm not saying the best solution, but this will really guide you on what you're going to do and what you're going to implement in your province, in your municipality or city. So yeah, others really follow, and that's now where we're able to partner with different organizations. For example, in ULAP, the Union Leagues of Authorities of the Philippines, it's the League of Governors, Vice Governors, Mayors. So we partner with them. Again, so part of the partnership is to train and capacitate all these stakeholders to come up with the best solutions. Now, it's not only that, we're also focusing on helping them on how to access funding, a climate finance program. So for instance, the PSF, the People's Survival Fund, which can be accessed by the local government units.
I see.
So yes, it's a 1 billion grant, which can be accessed by local government units. And the proposal, the project proposal has to contain climate science. Right. So yeah, it's kind of technical, but that's what people want. So it's not a loan, but it's a grant that can be accessed by our LGUs.
Do you find that there's a lot of facilities like that people, even mayors and local government officials, are just not aware of, or they lack the information? Is that the problem also in the Philippines?
Yes, actually, it's really true. That's the reason why we have been traveling, and we need to provide that assistance.
That's part of your capacity building.
Capacity building. Again, that's part of advocacy. By the way, for everybody's information, we do it for free. We're not being paid for that. But so since it's for free, and since it's part of your advocacy, there's love on it. We love to provide that kind of training to our
how to apply, where to apply.
So we teach them how to assess what is really happening in their municipality. At the same time, once it is assessed, then we help them to develop the program, develop the project, and then the next step is how to help them to submit it to the People's Survival Fund. Now, it's if you have that particular project, they want to access the PSF, the People's Survival Fund, they just have to submit to the Department of Finance.
Right, and I hear there's a number of programs that exist regarding climate change, right? But on the national level, is there something that you've learned along the way as you have been helping these local government officials that maybe our national officials should know about, or should maybe think about in terms of crafting new laws or new policies on a national level?
Okay.
Because SONA is just around the corner, right?
Yes.
And I was just wondering maybe if there's if you had an opportunity to give inputs, right, to what the president and Congress should be looking at based on the work that you're doing. What are some of those things that you'd like to have them pay attention to?
Probably it's going to be in two ways. I mean, first, in terms of climate change mitigation, so because up to now, there's no specific law, there's no specific, there's a Climate Change Act, but there's no specific or standard tool that can be used, for example, in the climate change mitigation. Because, for instance, in my work with Philippine Airlines as an advisor, so part of our commitment in Philippine Airlines is we want the aviation industry of Philippine Airlines to be the leader in global, in the aviation, in terms of the net zero emission.
Right.
So we want it to be what? We want to reduce our GHGs, or carbon in the form of
greenhouse gases,
or greenhouse gases. And we want to reduce it by 2030 on an a certain percentage by 2030 and before 2050. So that's what we're doing right now. We're done with the assessment, and we're going to come up with the implementation program. We're going to implement the programs by July, by next month. So just one example.
That's interesting. That's the interesting part, because it's not just research, but it's actually a program that's about to be implemented by, in this case, Philippine Airlines. So
yes, correct.
When you say that you're implementing it very soon, what is it that PAL will be doing to reduce its greenhouse gases? So what is the recommendation to PAL?
Recommendation to PAL, and this is also in a close coordination with the President, Captain Stanley Nang, because this is also his brilliant idea.
Okay.
So because he said, every time we talk, that he wants also to be remembered, not just
he wants a legacy.
The legacy.
Yeah.
So he wants to have a legacy on resiliency and sustainability in the aviation sector. So because of the constant communication, all right, with the Philippine Airlines, with the president, so he was able to come up with an acronym, the RISE program. It's the RISE Philippine Airlines. R stands for resiliency, I stands for inclusivity, S stands for sustainability, and E stands for enculturated airlines. So what do we mean by that? Resilient because we want our people, not only the employees of Philippine Airlines, but all our partners to be resilient. And how are you going to make them resilient? So by introducing programs that will really benefit the employees and the partners. Inclusivity, because it's not only limited for Philippine Airline employees. Inclusive because we want to cover as much as possible all our partners and other people who are benefiting the services of Philippine Airlines. And sustainability, this is where we're going to train our people in TAL about how they're going to reduce their GHGs from the different sources. For example, transportation, the fuel that you use, the energy, the different sources.
Are they going to change their fuel into?
That's part of the plan. The Sustainable Aviation Fuel, yes, the SAF. That's part of the plan, PAL. But there's already a list. There's already a roadmap.
So there's a number of things on your action plan.
Yes.
Is it going to impact on us consumers? Is it going to make tickets more affordable or more expensive? Or what's going to be the end result for the customer?
It's really going to be affordable. So because it's not just only for one. It's not just about being sustainable in one particular aspect, but we want everyone embraces the different programs. And we're not only limited we're not only focusing on the sustainability. Like I mentioned, there is resiliency, there's inclusivity and resiliency, and the sustainability. The other one is enculturated. Enculturated aviation, meaning enculturated Philippine Airlines. The heart of the Filipino. We don't want that particular phrase to be just a phrase.
Yeah.
So there should be an action on it.
Right. So before I leave PAL and before we take a break, what is the timetable that you've set for PAL to be carbon neutral?
To 2030 to 2040.
Wow, very interesting.
Yes, before 2050, yes.
All right, so very interesting, Len. We'll be right back with Business and Politics. I'm talking to Mr. Glenn Banaguas.